JKB back with another episode. Today I'm reviewing the Hot Wheels expansion for Forza Horizon 3. Thank you to Microsoft for sending over the review copy, and if you like what I've done by the end of this video, please subscribe and help me eat food. Let's talk about Hot Wheels for a second. Everybody that's over the age of 25 or even, even maybe a bit younger, I think that Hot Wheels have kind of lost a lot of their, sales figures. I don't think a lot of people are going out there and buying Hot Wheels for their kids. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't see it as big as it was when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I owned Hot Wheels. Everybody owned Hot Wheels. And the tracks that came with the Hot Wheels that you set up, the orange track, that was just, as a kid, it was mind-blowing because I played with Micro Machines. That was one thing, but to be able to put them onto a track and have this sort of like mechanical mechanism that would shoot them over these loops was just amazing. So when I saw that they got the license to do that in Horizon, I thought this is going to be ridiculous, and I was absolutely correct in that assumption. This is exactly what you would want it to be when you take giant tracks that are all, the typical orange tracks out of the Hot Wheels franchise that's been around forever and put them into the Forza world. Oh my God, does it work together? Absolutely. So what this is a giant map that you get to go into and play around in. The only thing I'm going to say right off the bat, because I don't want to forget this, is when you fall off the track, very frustrating. The game seems to sometimes put you back up onto the track, but sometimes you're left to figure out how to get back onto the track, which can be very frustrating during a race, especially when the game is sort of supposed to put you back immediately, but it hasn't done that, and you're in last place now. That's the end of that race, isn't it? But other than that, this really does work because they've introduced a whole line of Hot Wheel cars that are exclusive to this DLC. And once you start unlocking these things and realizing, like, some of them have two engines, oh God, this is my dream come true. And you realize that they've also taken that old school mechanism that was in the old school Hot Wheels game where you put the car through these spinny things and it would shoot it out. That's in the game now. You drive over a piece of this track that's spinning really quick and it just sends you right up a loop and you're just going around, and it's such a blast. So if you're a huge fan of the Forza franchise and now you want to have some fun, like other than the typical fun you have in Forza, because I think it's one of the best racing game series ever made, now they've made it even more fun. And they introduced a few little things right off the bat. I'll say there was like a mechanical T-Rex that was walking sort of next to the track, and I thought, okay, that's cool, that's kind of cool, that's okay. But I realized at one point he's like chomping on the track, and if you get too close he bites your car. And it reminded me of like being a kid and having to deal with like a dog trying to steal my Hot Wheels, and it's like I'm biting it, like, this sounds weird, but I remember biting my Hot, and it just threw me back, and the car went spinning when he bit on it, and it was just like this memory of like playing with Hot Wheels. And I thought they really thought about that. Why would the T-Rex even be at the edge of the thing unless it had something to do with biting the cars? And it was so cool to see that. The map itself is pretty big. It's as big as Blizzard Mountain was. So if you're a fan of Forza, you probably have that DLC as well. Blizzard Mountain, I thought, was spectacular. This, I'm going to say, however, because there's not too much to it other than going up in these loops and going around ridiculous sort of turns and whatnot, the content here is a lot more focused on that. It's just focused on the fact that you're going to go through the speed boost and you're going to end up going through a loop-de-loop and you're going to crash into things, and there's a lot to do on the map. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to do. I'm just saying it might not be as, I don't know, it's different. It's totally different than when you've experienced before, and going through this you realize this is like that extra fun element that you just hadn't seen in the series ever. One day I thought they're going to take this sort of half sim, half arcade racing game and put it into a world like this, but I never thought it would turn out this well. So I'm going to say right off the bat here, which just doesn't make sense because this is the end of the fucking video, but I don't really know English. I'm going to say this is, I highly recommend if you have Forza to check this out. There's a ton of things to do, just like you did in the last one. It's about collecting stars and moving on up. Once you've collected a certain amount of stars, you unlock different events onto the map. Each event has 3 different levels. You have an easy one where it's just simple, beat the level, you get 1 star. But if you beat it and get a certain amount of experience points or hit a certain jump, you'll get the hard version, which is 3 stars. So you really go through these events 3 different times if you suck at the game. But if you're good at it, you're going to get the 3 stars right away, and it's going to really take you at least 10 hours to do everything on this map. There's races, there's the bucket list. All of those things are returning from the previous DLC in the main game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's just incredible that this team keeps delivering these amazing DLC packs for an amazing series. I highly recommend it, especially if you were a young kid playing in the sandbox with your little, your toys. It gets me emotional because I remember just sitting there and playing with this track and thinking it was like just the best thing that's ever existed. And that really was the reason why I got into cars, and that's why I still like racing games to this day. So when you see Hot Wheels and Forza together, you know something interesting is there, and I'm telling you now, as one of your friends, this is a must-own if you own the game. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I did in this video, please subscribe, and also make sure you send me nudes, because I'm much older now and I can accept those. Unless you're underage, don't do that. Please don't send me nudes if you're underage. Thank you. Love you lots. Bye.